Everybody, this is Alessandro. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about creativity and sense of entertainment because I do have the feeling that there is a big issue, going on in the industry or between artists, and I don't think it's been talked enough. And this is what I address with you guys. Let me do a step back, few years back. Okay, guys, I was in a company. I was working. This is like probably was 7, 8 years ago. I was in a student surrounded by a lot of other animators. Okay, some of them really talented, some of them not that talented, and some of them kinda okay, right? Like in the sense that their animator was on a good level, right, decent level. Their speed of execution was quite good. The director gave them an assignment or something with a clear direction, and they were able to execute it even very fast, right? But there was an issue in the moment that instead of the director give them a very clear direction, there was a moment where, hey, the storyboard is not very clear, we don't have a proper layout, or maybe you need to do this performance, but we might not work, and we want you to do something different. We want you to present us your own idea, your own performance, something innovative and creative. The problem is that some of those artists, they kinda didn't know what to do because they really struggled to come up with their own idea, with their own performance, their own acting, action, or whatever, unless you give them a very strong and clear direction. And this was a big issue because when they presented the work, you could see there was very average. Maybe they were taking inspiration from a YouTube video or something, and the performance itself was kinda very boring, which is something terrible, right? And maybe sometimes they will ask the director, hey, can you give me like some quick direction or something? And the director, the supervisor, is not gonna spend hours and hours to thinking an idea for you, because that's your job as animator, right? And you should spend hour, if not even a full day, just to plan your own animation, right? And obviously the director, maybe they will give you a quick input. Yes, let's do a character, maybe run forward and jump left or right, something like this, very quickly. And you could see that those animators, that's exactly what they were doing. They maybe they tried to add their own input, but it wasn't very successful. And for me, this is a huge problem. Yes, because there are cases where yes, you're in a team, you can talk with other people, brainstorm together, but you're not gonna get away with that solution all the time. There's gonna be moment in your career, especially if you want to level up, where you need to have a very strong sense of entertainment and a very strong creativity, because I do believe that those things play a very important role, right? Because you might know how to animate, how to polish, how to pose it, but if the animation looks boring, the idea is boring, it's not creative, it's not fun, your own animation, again, it's boring and it's not really entertaining to watch, and it's gonna hurt maybe the project, right? So again, like, it's when those animators, like, they can have this mental block when you tell them, okay, I give you a white paper, you can do whatever you want, and then they have this kind of mental block that they don't know what to do, right? It is of a big deal, and I think it is a really huge problem, because again, you're gonna present something to your lead, to your supervisor, they're gonna tell you, hey, this is boring. Okay, the animation works, it's fine, it's fluid, but the idea is just boring, try something else. They don't know what to do. They obviously, your director, your supervisor is gonna give that shot to someone else who is more creative, right? And you can even see me as a supervisor. I know in my team where I need I need to experiment some concept or some idea. I know which animator in my team are really good, are very creative, and I know which of them are just very good in execution if I give them a very clear direction. And if they don't have direction, they are completely lost, right? And realistically speaking, those animators are much less valuable to the one that are more creative. For me, those are the superstar of my team. All right, guys. So this is something you wanna keep in mind, especially because this kind of creativity, spark that you have, sense of entertainment, is very difficult to teach. I can teach you how to pose, how to do the spline, the in between stuff like that, but I cannot really teach you like how to be creative, how to come up with original idea. It's very difficult, right? And again, it's an important thing for the animation industry. And I can tell you one of the mistakes I did with one of my first students. Okay, he came to me, we studied from the beginning of body mechanics, and at the beginning I told him, hey, do your own reference, we want to study wave shift, like maybe a little jump, a character balancing. I was giving them some idea, right? And I tried to tell him, hey, try to do your own reference. And I said, those are just some example of idea. You try to experiment more. You can give me whatever you want. I told him, like, the sky's the limit. And what he presented to me when he sent me the reference was exactly the very few things that I mentioned to him. That it was like, yes, a character doing a sidestep, a walking back, like a jump forward. And I was like, dude, this is like a quick example. I give it to you in a few minutes, and you didn't do any effort to try to come up with different idea or something like that. And it was like, yes, because I'm not very good in acting. I'm shy in front of the camera. I don't feel comfortable to move with my body. Says, Alessandro, can I search stuff on YouTube? Other people doing reference that might be more dynamic and interesting. And on top of my head, it was like, oh, okay, it's not a big deal. Go ahead with that. And yes, you find good reference on YouTube or anything like that, because obviously, especially if you want to do extreme things, you're not always able to do reference yourself, right? And so I thought it was a good idea. But moving forward, we spent 8 months together. He was studying, was even getting quite good in body mechanics, but he was always looking for reference from online other people, right? And there was a moment where at some point I wanted to do like some combo attack animation, like video game style, like a character doing one, two, and three, a sequence of attack. And I told him, you want to do some kind of video game style, your animation needs to be faster, snappier, more stylish, and you're not going to find a reference from human actor like this over the internet. And at the same time, you don't want to take existing video game animation, or you do not want to take a look at other animators' demo reel and copy what they're doing and put it on your demo reel, because definitely that's a no-no. All right, guys? So I told them, you have to come up with your own performance. I said, you can do some planning. I give them some idea. You can do some planning on paper. You can take a simple box and coming up your own performance of what you want, like a backflip and strike, landing, jumping backwards. I give them, as usual, some quick idea. Or as I said, sometimes you can do your own reference, and then when you do an animation, you plan how to exaggerate those things and stuff like that. And I can tell you guys, it was an entire failure, because when he was doing his own reference, again, it was very awkward because he didn't practice, and you can see only the performance that he was trying to do were, again, all very boring, like slash left, right, a stab, another slash, stop, another slash from bottom. So all very kind of boring movement and performance. I was like, I see these things like millions of times. It's very basic. Come on, can you not come up with a more interesting idea, like a character jumping, throwing like a rope, pulling the enemy to himself, striking, doing a backflip. So like I'm a volcano of idea, right? And that's what I feel like an animator should be. And then he was telling me like, oh, Alessandro, I really struggle with this, because when I need to sit in front of Maya and thinking about an idea, I struggle to come up with something original, something interesting, especially in front of the reference. And I said, yes, okay, if the reference it's a problem for you, there are other ways, right? Because not all animators use video reference. Some of them, they do thumbnails. Again, they do thumbnails of their own key poses. They do they take a simple blocks of a cube in 3D and they move it all around to see the spacing, to see the rhythm of the animation. So there are multiple ways of doing that. But bottom line, you need to have in your mind a creative idea, okay, a creative performance execution, right? Like again, could be the character here jumping, striking down, then jumping and then doing a backflip, throwing some grappling hook, pulling the enemy into himself, like a lot of things. Like those things needs to be in your mind, and then you think later how to execute them. Because if you learn how to do animation, then you know how to execute them. But if you do not, you're not even able to create those interesting ideas, those interesting performance, and your mind just block himself, and you have this kind of problem. Then I ask him, hey, if you have this kind of issue, and you know it since at the beginning, let me ask you this: why did you want to be an animator if you have this kind of issue, right? I usually ask those kind of questions. And some of those issues, some of this problem, I continue to face it even with some of my students, or even when I see other people demo reel online, where sometimes I see their animation and the performance, and I see some idea. Yeah, maybe the animation is nice, but the idea is just very boring. Like a character walking, running, doing a jump, a little full step, and then coming down. But that's just boring to watch. I mean, why do you want to even animate something like that? You're putting on your demo reel, you want to show the best of the best. And basically what you're showing me, it's something very average. Yes, the animation might look nice, fluid and everything, but I'm watching, I'm not being entertained. It's just like there's nothing exciting to see. Maybe I see thousands of demo reel and your gesture, your acting, your performance is just very bland. You could show me an acting shot, and with a dialogue and everything, and first of all you might even choose a very boring dialogue line. There is no contrast, it's very flat, there is no emotion in the voice. And my idea is, my suggestion is always the same. Like, why did you even choose a dialogue like this? It's not even interesting to animate. It's full flat, the delivery of the line and everything, and the acting choice that you choose, the pose that you've done are all very average and very boring. I don't see anything creatively artistic, interesting in this kind of acting. And again, it's not about the execution of the animation, it's just the idea behind the performance, in the acting, the idea, the audio that you choose. All these are just very bad. And this simply, for me, this is what it means, that you do not have good self-judgment to understand what is a good performance, what is a bad one, what does it mean to do something entertaining. You just don't get to this point. And this is a huge problem, because moving forward, especially if you want to be a very talented animator, this is a big deal. Because when someone, when I give to my animator like a task, I expect something entertaining, something fun, right? That's why it's called entertaining industry. And if you have those issues, and your lead, your supervisor cannot be there to train you in those things, it is gonna be a problem. It's gonna hurt your career, right? And again, I can give you guys another example. Sometimes when a student came to me and they studied with me and everything, and I asked them to do like a reference or something, and I tell them, guys, when you do your reference, give me some rhythm in your reference. Don't do the speed of your action all the same. Don't do action that are very boring. Don't repeat the action all the time, like a run, stop, a run. You're repeating the run twice. If you're doing a jump, don't do the jump 2, 3, 4 times that is exactly identical, because it's gonna just be boring to animate. Or sometimes I give them some idea, but I tell them, hey, those are just some idea. I wanna see your idea. I wanna see what you're able to present. And then again, they do all those mistakes. Rhythm that is very flat, they're repeating the action over and over. Sometimes they send me even multiple reference that they look identical. They're doing the same performance over and over. And I was like, don't you say you're sending me the same idea 3 times? Like, I saw it once. If it doesn't work, what do you think is gonna happen? You send me twice the same idea, right? If it's not working, it's not working. So those are the kind of things. And for me, it's like, or you're not listening when I'm teaching you, when I'm telling you what you should do, or you do not have self-judgment. You're not able to analyze something and to understand what something is interesting or not, right? Sometimes I even see that when they present me the current demo reel and they show me a shot, maybe the character is moving slow all the time like this, and it's like, didn't you get bored animating this? It feels boring. Everything feels slow. There is no rhythm. There is no pike into the rhythm of an animation. They shared with me, yes, actually, after a few weeks, I got very bored of it because there was nothing interesting, even when I was doing the reference. And then I asked them, well, then why do you animate this? It felt like it was boring. First of all, why your mentor didn't tell you anything, first of all. But you should have self-judgment, And so those are kind of issues that I feel like people need to address. Because again, I know another guy, like a few months back, he told me that, Alessandro, like, for example, I struggle when it comes to posing. And, I do not have original idea when it comes to posing. I don't know how to design a creativity and fun pose, right? And I told him, look, I can teach you how to pose, how to manage the rig, the line of action, all those things. But creative idea, how to make a pose interesting, a very interesting design, needs to come from you. You cannot expect that someone else always telling you how to come up with the interesting idea, right? Because yes, I can teach at the beginning, but after 6 months, you're doing your blocking, you present me your planning, and you see your planning is still very boring, not very interesting, your pose are not that interesting, then it means you're not learning. And when you're gonna go to a studio and they will give you a task and they wanna see what you're able to come up with the idea, what you're gonna do. When I'm gonna give you cannot always rely on going on YouTube or look at other people's reference, especially if you're doing acting, right? They will give you a line of dialogue and you'll have to do the acting on top of that. Yeah, sometimes you can ask your colleague to help you with that, but it's nothing you can do all of the time. So sometimes you have to go in front of the camera, remember the line and come up with your own acting. And if this is something you struggle, you're not comfortable, you just, again, your mind goes completely blank when I tell you, hey, come up here and give me some nice ideas and that it's fun, it's entertaining, and your mind goes like, oh my god, I don't know what to do, I have zero idea. then I'm asking you again the same question. Why did you choose this job, this career? Because we need to talk about this. And sometimes the answer that I got is like, oh, because animation seems something really fun, interesting. I like to play video games. It looks creative. So yeah, that's all a good point. But that's not enough for you to start this career, because I can tell you the same. Even being a singer or a rock star sounds like an amazing career, really fun, and a lot of beautiful things, right? But as a singer, I'm pretty sure I have to write my own songs, right? And if I try to be creative and write it down my own songs, and I put a piece of paper, I want to write my own text, and my mind goes completely blank. I have no idea. I have zero idea that I want to put on paper. I have no sense of rhythm in line. I'm not good with writing with words. Then what the hell I want to be a singer? Obviously that's not a career for me if my brain doesn't function this way. And it's the same thing for animation. If I tell you, hey, give me a creative idea, give me something creative fun that you want to execute in animation, and your mind just go blank, then you want to think about it. Maybe this might not be a right career for you, because it's not for everybody. I'm telling you how did I end up falling in love in animation, and why I wanted to jump in this career. I remember when I was young and I was watching movie, cartoon, a video game, I was reading comics, of course I got inspired, but all of the time I was like, oh my god, I'm reading this would have been so much cooler if instead of doing this they would have done this and this, would have been cooler if this character in Dragon Ball Z or whatever, it would have done this move or whatever, this performance could have been so much better. I have so many creative ideas. Then yes, I didn't know how to execute them because I didn't have the training. I wasn't good in drawing, into the animation, things that I learned later. But my brain was an explosion of idea. Even when I was playing video game, I was like, oh, this would be so much better if the character would have done this move, taking this character, smashing down, jumping, doing a strike attack, like all this creative stuff. Like I was so animated myself. People always tell me, Alessandro, you look like an animated character. So I have all this explosion of idea that I really wanted to go and animate, and I was trying myself, and I didn't have the skill, so maybe it didn't look great, but the idea, the drive, the artistic drive was definitely there. It was an explosion. And that's something you need to have if you want to work in this industry, or in general a creative industry, right? Because again, you can be good in executing, right? I imagine I'm good in drawing, but if the only thing I'm able to do is do a drawing with someone, give me a clear direction. Alessandro, I want you to draw a house in a cyberpunk style. Somehow they give me this clear direction, and I look for reference, and I can copy more or less, and I'm able to do it. But if someone says, Alessandro, I want you to do a painting, a drawing, and I just want to see something cool from you, surprise me, and my mind goes, oh my god, what should I do here? I don't have this creative drive. Then for me it is a problem. And I know this is things, guys, I know I've been talking a lot today, but I know this is something people don't want to hear, because people want to hear, oh, but I really want to be an animator, sounds fun and everything. That doesn't mean anything. Just because you want to be doesn't mean you will be. Of course, I hope the best for all of you guys that you're watching this video, but that's not how things work. I know I wanted to be a manga artist, for example, and I never have the skill or anything, and I never been, and that's okay with that. So there are other factors that you want to keep in mind. And creativity, if you are very creative, and again you have all those ideas, is a big part of it, okay guys? And it's something you should keep in mind. So I hope this somehow help you to clarify some of the doubts you might have in this case, and see you next time. Ciao guys.